Hey y'all, just a quick Bible review. I'm on a few of the Facebook pages for Bible Geekery, and it's so much fun. I love the community on there. And so someone had asked the question, one of the groups I'm on, I'm on the Superfan pages, and this one was on Bible Premium Bible Africanados, Premium Bible African, hang on.
Aficionado.
Premium Bible aficionados. Someone was asking if we use our premium Bibles on a regular basis and if they're worn in, and so I have a few editions with some really high mileage on them. And so I'm more of a video guy than a picture guy, even though I take pictures every once in a while. It's easier for me to just do the video and give it a quick edit than it is for me to take pictures with these complicated cameras shooting in RAW and then having to adjust everything in Lightroom. And so I hope this suffices. And then again, this is just a quick video and not really a review, but just a look at some of my past editions that again had some use, and at one time or another they were a daily use Bible for years. So let me pull them out real quick. Alright, so these are mine. I'm going to be looking at that have what I say the high mileage on. And so I'm going to get a closer look at all these guys just again real quick. And then also my wife's got two Allan readers that we're going to look at too that she's used in the same capacity. But a little bit different type of wear because she puts these in her purses, backpacks and stuff. The main reason we both get these premium Bibles is when I first got saved and we started buying Bibles and they were falling apart. It was just so unnerving. Like you'd spend a few months in a Bible and then pages are falling out, the cover's falling off, and we're like, what is going on? So we just started looking for something that could actually take some use and take some punishment, and these really can, the ones that I'm going to show you. Okay, so the biggest thing you're going to see on all these editions, except for I think one spot that I'm going to point out in my Allan that I'm aware of currently, is these covers just last. That's one solid sheet of leather. That's what genuine leather is. Most of these are goat skin, and so they've just maintained their suppleness. Is that how you say it? And can just crinkle up this cover and kablamo, and there it is. But the number one thing that you're going to see from these higher quality Bibles is that, man, most of the time these hinges are really going to just stay solid, stay together, and you're just going to see the wear on the art gilding and kind of the crinkling in the pages. Like that. So just some normal wear and tear, maybe some, well, gosh, the lighting's kind of good. Some wearing down of the lettering and the Bible and stuff. So this is my Cambridge wide margin, and this was my first premium Bible that I ever had, and this thing has gone on many trips with me, traveled all over with me, and just was a daily use Bible for a few years and just got through it and wanted to pick up another one, especially for preaching. The font was a little bit small for me to preach from in its paragraph format, so I picked up the Allan readers that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But I mean, the binding is just still so solid, and the fact that this can just lay like this and it wants to and still hadn't fallen apart is just amazing to me. I think because the spine folds in half like that is one of the reasons that some of the lettering on the spine has worn off more so than some of the other ones. But really, I mean, the cover and the binding on this is still so solid. It's just a wear on the pages that you can notice. I mean, it's still just such a nice Bible. I will say, this is the only wide margin with this flat spine that folds like that I have ever seen in my life. When we give Bibles away, most often people actually go for the wide margin when we give them an option, and so I've given tons of these away, and it's more like the Pitt Minion with the rounded spine or an Allan with the rounded spine, and they don't fold in half. So don't make yours fold in half if you have one of the rounded spines. Again, this is just the flat spine, and it does that. And so I wish they still made them like that. Maybe they'll continue to do it. I don't know why they changed it, because it's obviously lasted. Maybe they were having some other issues with it, I don't know, but I haven't had any issues with this one. My next one was the Cambridge Pitt Minion. So it's just kind of a shrunk up version of that. I mean, the page numbers, the verses, everything match up with the wide margin. If you get the Pitt Minion in the same translation, same thing with the Schuyler Quentel and the personal size Quentel, page numbers, everything match up. And so it was easy for me as I'm going through the wide margin and marking it up. I'm getting familiar with where specific verses are at, and so it was nice to have something that I could take to work with me. And so I have 5 of these editions. This is probably the one that got the most use. This red ribbon I just threw in there on my own, but it's not stock. This is just the French Morocco leather, and this I've had in my pocket, I've had in book bags, I've had in my map case that I carry my Bibles in sometimes. And these don't come out of the box like that flexible. They're cardstock inside here, and so they usually open flat. The covers stay straight and don't hang, but I've just had this one so long that it's broken in. You can even see the liner where it's just tons of wrinkly inside there on the cardstock, and that paper liner as it's just broken in over the years. I mean, the paper almost looks like goatskin or leather itself from just being so wrinkly from twisting it around and just constantly using it. But again, it's genuine leather. There is a little issue with the binding on this one right here, and that's been a bigger deal on my son's Pitt Minion, so we've seen that in Pitt Minions. But other than that, it's just going to be noticeable wear on the pages. And I haven't seen the lettering wear off on the spine on this one. And I've used this one a ton too. Again, this one was my Take It to Work Bible. And if you're wondering, in the Mark in My Bible super fans, I do mark in this one, but I just write cross references on the side as I have room. And I still mark this with just one yellow Sharpie highlighter, but I don't mark just that flat felt tip. I take the very, very tip and make a thin line through it. And so that's how I mark my Pitt Minions. Beyond that, like, the pages are so thin, I don't know if it can handle much more. My current daily use Bible that I've had for the last about 2 years now, I think, is this Allan Reader's black with the red under gold and the navy blue ribbon. So honestly don't know what edition this is. I've heard the newer ones are a little bit thicker than this one. Again, the cover's nice. The only noticeable thing is going to be the wear on the pages as you just continue to use the pages, especially if you write in them. I'm usually pretty careful with my pages. I don't want to crinkle them so much. My wife doesn't care as much as I do about the page crinkling. She actually likes the look of it, and so I'll show you her Bibles and what they look like in a second after I'm done with mine. But this one has been pretty solid, but I would say it hasn't been as solid as I thought. This is the Allan that I've personally used the most, and let me fold up the ribbons here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Now, when they bind these, you have a piece of leather that goes inside the cardstock to put the cover on the text block. And so in this one, and it's surprising me that it's at the bottom. I have this on the top a little bit, but on the bottom, you can see right there on this side over here, you can see underneath the pages that little triangle thingy. That's where the cardstock is beginning to separate from where the leather's at. I don't have that on the other side, and so that's just something I've kept my eye on. I've had that happen in a Holman Christian Standard calfskin that I have, and honestly I just super glued it, pinched it back up, and I hadn't had a problem with it since. I just haven't done it to this edition yet, but that was something that began to happen over time. You can see it on the top as well, just a little bit now that you know what you're looking for, but I mean it's so little. So most of the time when you're reading, the weight is on the top and not on the bottom. And so I was surprised to see that happen on the bottom and not on the top, where most of the stress is being put on that part of where the cover is hooked up to the text block. But again, mostly solid, still happy with it. I preach from this every week, I study in it every week, and this is a daily use Bible for me currently. Now this one, the brick, the first edition Quentel, I thought for sure we're gonna have issues like I saw with the Allan on this one, especially because it's so heavy. But compared to the Allan, they put, I don't know if the video will pick up on that. Okay, you can kind of see that line right there. That's how much leather they have poking into that thicker cardstock that's keeping the cover on. And so they have a little bit more leather in here than they did in this Allan. Let me show you the Allan readers. So that might have been the reason, but I am shocked. Look at this. The corners aren't coming undone, even on the top of this behemoth. And even when I hold it up like this, it's still staying together. Same thing on the bottom. No issues at all on the bottom. I am so impressed with this edition. Again, I've been cover to cover on this one, and so the binding stayed together. The cover's still solid, usually genuine leather, especially like goat skin. You're not going to see it come apart like bonded leather. Your binding will fail before the cover fails. But again, just the only thing noticeable is that there's wear on the art glit. Some of the pages might be a little bit wrinkled, and then your cover is just not going to be as straight over time. I think the aperture is a little bit wonky, so you can't see down the whole line, but if you're able to see down this line, you'd see that the cover's just not straight. It's just taken the form of, hey, I've been used for a little bit. Can't tell if that's turning out now, but we'll see when the video comes out. So again, just because of the weight, I was most impressed with this one. And so this Bible has probably made me the biggest Schuyler fan ever. And so I have more Schuyler editions than I do in Cambridge or Allan, just because of my past experience. I hadn't had one do anything goofy on me yet. And by goofy, I mean just those minor things I showed you in the pit and with my Allan readers. And so I haven't seen anything like that with Schuyler so far. I've been so happy with them, and I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 Schuyler editions. Nothing in calfskin yet, so I can't say anything about their calfskin, but all their goatskin stuff has been super solid. I've got one more on the way, their personal size King James. I'll look at that with you when that comes in. So those are all my Bibles with the highest mileage. I have others that I'm presently using, but I just don't think I've used them enough to make it worth this video. One thing I'll point out on the Allan readers too, and this has happened on every reader that I've used consistently, both of my wife's Allan readers, this is my wife's, by the way, her ESV reader. You open it up to just the title pages here. That first soft page seems to get wrinkled really easy and just kind of offsets it. And so when you close it, you have this one random page just sticking out the top by like 2 or 3 millimeters. So I've gotten to the point where it's just part of the personality of the reader. It's gonna do that. I don't know why it does that, but it does. And so she hadn't seen any of the corner separation on her ESV reader. And the bottom's just the same. I mean, the biggest thing is because she's used it, it's just so stinking flexible, almost like the wide margin. And I know they don't come out of the box like this. I have the same edition. It's a little bit more stiff. I've used it about the same as she's used this one, but again, she puts hers in her purses and her backpacks, in suitcases without the boxes when traveling and stuff. And she doesn't really do anything with her yap either, so you can kind of see like there's a little bit of a yap, but it's not folded and as pronounced as mine. Actually, the video and the lighting and the shadings making it look a little bit more pronounced than she's really kept it. But again, the biggest thing is just going to be the page wear, and she's got a lot more noticeable page wear on her readers just because of sticking it in places without the box. Usually when I go into a damp place or travel with it, like I always just keep mine in the boxes. I don't have a Bible case or anything, but anyway, this will be interesting. I want to see if hers did the same thing mine did in the corner. This is her New American Standard readers in petrol blue, and it didn't. This one looks pretty good. So there's the corners on that one. These New American Standards have a little bit thicker cover, so it's harder to keep the yap on them. The binding, everything stayed solid for her. On this one, it's just going to be the page wear that you can see, and that's really it. She has one more, and I, no kidding, just pulled it out of her backpack, sitting in there like this. And so she just puts these in her backpack. But this personal size Quentel is her favorite one right now. She uses this a ton every day for a while now. Let's see, we've got them in June, and I've been using mine on at least 3-4 days a week. But again, I'm a lot more careful with my pages, and I don't stick mine in my backpack like that. And so it's just not even worth making this video. But just again, she likes the worn in look, but then again, like, this thing has been so solid. And so let's see, no issue on the binding on that one, and just the same thing as the others. It's just going to be, the pages are going to show some wear from actually using it. Her cover is not super straight anymore, just naturally it folds up. And so that was kind of one of the things I was showing you on my brick, is how the covers are just gonna, they'll take their own form. Now hers is a little bit worse than mine just because of the backpack treatment and all that, but again, she likes that stuff. And so you can see that there. Let me turn it away from the light. Maybe you can see the page wear a little bit better. But this is just the PSQ that she's had since June, I think they came out last year. And so this has been her favorite Bible. This leather on this particular tan, like, I have 2 other tan Bibles thinking I'm gonna get this leather. This is so soft, it almost feels wet and slippery. This is like, it almost feels like a salamander, and it has since she's had it. It's just amazing. I have never felt another Bible, and I've got some Bibles, and I have never felt a Bible like this one that she's got. So it's just the joys of natural grain goat skin. You never know what you're gonna get. Anyway, she loves this thing, but it's been a solid one, and she uses this constantly. And this has been with us traveling overseas. The first trip I think she took it on was Bogota, Colombia, when we were on a mission trip down there. And just, I actually bought a $3 D.L. Moody New American Standard from Half Price Books to take with me to travel, because I don't want to travel with my nicer Bibles. But she's not scared, and that's why she buys them. And again, we just buy them to use them. And so a lot of history in those Bible editions that I showed you, and they're still, for the most part, just very solid Bibles. Very happy with them. And it's really just, as you spend time in it, you're going to season the pages, and that's okay. And so I hope this helped and you were able to see what you wanted to see on the editions. If you have any other questions, let me know. And thanks for watching this video. See y'all.